Diwakar sir, shall we begin now?
Yes, we can.
1 minute, few seconds. Good afternoon, the dignitaries and dear students. Learning with good English pronunciation are likely to be understood even if they make errors in other areas, whereas learners with bad pronunciation will not be understood, even if their grammar is perfect. Such learners may avoid speaking in English and experience social isolation, employment difficulties, and limited opportunities for further study. We judge people by the way they speak, so learners with poor pronunciation may be judged as incompetent, uneducated, or lacking in knowledge. Yet many learners find pronunciation one of the most difficult aspects of English to acquire and need explicit help from the teacher. Therefore, some sort of pronunciation class or the instruction is necessary. Keeping in mind this, today we have organized a guest lecture webinar titled The Importance of Accurate English Pronunciation. We have invited an eminent guest speaker, Professor Diwakar P from MS Ramiah Institute of Technology. We welcome you, sir. To begin formally, I invite Ms. Ananya Bhatt from second year BCom section C for the invocation song. Ananya, you can unmute.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, Ananya, you are audible.
Bhajare Gopalam He Manasa Bhajare Gopalam Bhaja Gopalam Bhajita Kuchelam Bhaja Gopalam Bhajita Kuchelam Trijaganmoolam Dhiti Sutakalam Trijaganmoolam Dhiti Sutakalam Bhajare Gopalam He Manasa Bhajare Gopalam Agamasaram Yoga Vicharam Agamasaram Yoga Vicharam Bhoga Shariram Bhuvanodharam Bhoga Shariram Bhuvanodharam Bhajare Gopalam He Manasa Bhajare Gopalam Kadana Kathoram Kalusha Viduram Kadana Kathoram Kalusha Viduram Madana Kumaram Madhu Samharam Madana Kumaram Madhu Samharam Bhajare Gopalam He Manasa Bhajare Gopalam Gopalam Gopalam. Thank you.
Thank you, Ananya. I invite, now I request Professor Dept to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, sir. Derek Walcott once said, "The English language is nobody's special property. It is the property of imagination. It is the property of language itself." A very good afternoon to one and all present. I am Deepika, Assistant Professor from the Department of Commerce and Management. On behalf of Danand Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce, welcome you all for today's webinar on importance of accurate English pronunciation, organized by Literary Cell under the guidance of Internal Quality Assurance Cell. I would like to welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Nagraj Shenoy, Vice Principal, Hemant Uppala. I extend a warm welcome to our HOD of BBA, Dr. Suplab K. Poddar, HOD of BCom, Professor Murugesha BN, and last but not the least, I heartily welcome all the participants for today's webinar. Welcome one and all. Now I request Professor Anita to introduce the resource person.
Good afternoon. Professor Diwakar P is MA in English Literature, MEd, and Research Scholar at Christ University, Bangalore, an expert in phonetics and phonology. He is about to submit his PhD thesis. Professor Diwakar has been in teaching profession past 15 years. He has served at leading institutions like Christ College, St. Joseph's College. At present, he is working at MS Ramiah Institute of Technology. He has developed curriculum for the teachers and students on communicative English and soft skills. He has been voice and accent trainer, teacher trainer. He has organized several national and international conferences. He has authored 6 books in the field of which are available on Amazon also. He has published 10 papers in UGCK journals and 2 papers in Scopus Index. In the year 2011 and 12, Professor Diwakar was awarded by Government of Karnataka for Best Teaching and Results. Sir, we welcome you once again on this platform. Hope our students would receive the best from me. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, you can begin now. Yes, sir, you can.
Okay. Very good afternoon to one and all, particularly students who are part of this webinar today. I take this as a privilege to address all the students today because we are largely young generation population today, not only for our country, it's for the world. And we are in such a state where we need to empower our youth today. That's more important. That's why when Professor Mukesh approached me to address the students of Dayanand Saga, I immediately said yes, because today we need to empower our students. If we are not empowering them, tomorrow there'll be dearth in employment and the skills which cannot be exhibited. We all believe that we speak good, we speak very good, and our pronunciations are very good. How do we assess ourselves? That's a question often I ask my students. How do we assess? Do I assess myself? And if I have assessed, what's my level? There are 4 levels of proficiency assessment. If that's the case, what's my level? That's more important. We always believe ourselves good. I'm not saying that believing ourselves good is not bad. It's correct. But again, there should be some quantitative element when we need to know ourselves and we need to understand where do we stand. To begin my today's presentation on importance of accurate English pronunciation, I welcome everybody on this board today. And by end of my session today, I would assure you, you'll go back and it makes you to think today, how would I improve my skills? I'll just show you some facts. Let's show you where people stand today. Because I was part of placements. For 2 years, I've seen students crying for the placements that are with prestigious institutions where I work for. Placements, job opportunities today is very tough. And pandemic has taught us a lesson and we only survival of fittest today. We have gone back to the times. We are racing against the time today. The people who are very fittest, they'll survive. When I take survival of fittest, I remember an anecdote. Charles Darwin, we all know the person who wrote Evolution of Humankind. He always wanted to have a journey. Those days, there was a majestic ship called Beagle. He wanted to have a journey in that ship. Unfortunately, he couldn't travel, though he convinced the captain of Beagle ship to have a journey of unpaid, but he was checked out by the captain. He took some time. He made sure, he got motivated to himself, and he made sure that you would have a journey in that ship, and he did. The journey, what he had in Beagle, the voyage, what he had in Beagle ship, which made him to go across the world and to write Evolution of Humankind. That's the motivation today in this pandemic times, in this COVID-19 situations, where we have to motivate ourselves, motivate and start fighting for every day, not only with our health, with our career, with our profession, with our mark, what we have kept. You have to fight for everything. To begin I just stated a quote on the screen, just a simple quote which tells everything about today's presentation. No matter what job you have in life, your success will be determined 5% by your academic, 15% by your professional experience, and 80%, remember the last number, 80% by your communication skills. That's very important. Without that, companies wouldn't even look at you. As the title itself says, I'll have to speak on the pronunciation today, more than communication, because pronunciation is part of communication skills. Let me focus around pronunciation skills today, why it is important, and if at all, if we don't have good pronunciation skills, what would happen, and how do we improve that? These are the 3 areas of objective which I'll be working on today. And by end of my session, you'll have some direction fixed for you guys, where you people start working. I'll drop some of the links where you can work on yourselves. By end of my presentation, you'll get those links. And I request you people to explore those links and try to learn on yourselves. Before I begin my presentation, I request you people to watch this video. It'll give certain understanding. What is pronunciation? Are we not good? How do we learn pronunciation then? Why is this a new area? If at all, if this pronunciation, how it got evolved? We have 26 letters in English alphabet, then how many sounds we have? If I am not wrong, in Kannada, we have 56 sounds, vowels and consonants. Then how many sounds we have in phonemic sounds we have in English? 44. Then who taught us this? If I ask this question, it would have been more offline classes. I would have asked more questions. If at all, there are 26 letters in English alphabet, 44 sounds in English phonology, who taught us 44 sounds? There's a question always. Without those 44 sounds, if at all, if you're trying to speak, we are trying to speak from our mother tongue sounds. As I said, we have 56 sounds in English. We're trying to bring those sounds and pronounce it. That's why our pronunciation becomes very tough. Tomorrow, most of you may be working for foreign clients. Then how do you convince your clients? How do you make them understand their pronunciations? Why MNCs are not hiring our students these days? Why they're going for experienced candidates? Why freshers are not placed? I'm not saying all these things out of my exaggeration. Remember, guys, I was part of placements. I've seen the companies closely, and I've felt the problem of our students. I've seen their pain. Almost 19 years of study, 18, 19 years of study, from the day you joined your pre-nursery till you finish your degree. After 19, 20 years of studies, if you're not getting placed, you understand. How do you justify your struggle of 19 years? How do you justify your parents' pain? All these things, one short solution. Improve your pronunciation skills and start working on it. If your pronunciation skills are good, if your communicative skills are good, nobody can stop you. Before I go to further slides, I request you people to watch this video.
Hello. Now, one question I'm often asked is, what's the best way to improve my pronunciation? Well, my first piece of advice is to try to learn each different sound of English. And in order to learn each different sound of English, it's very helpful to learn each different symbol that represents these sounds of English.
Why do we need different symbols?
Why do we need different symbols? I hear you ask. Well, in writing English, we use 26 letters of the alphabet, but there are more than 26 sounds in English. In fact, there are over 40 sounds in English, and it's not very easy to show these using only the letters of the English alphabet. So there's a system which uses a group of symbols. Now, some of these symbols are the same as letters, and some of them are different. You can use the symbols to write out the pronunciation of words, and in many dictionaries for English learners, you will see the pronunciations written out using these special symbols. To show that it is the sounds which have been written and not the letters, the transcriptions are written between slashes. For example, the pronunciation of the word pet is written like this. In this example, the sound symbols look exactly the same as the letters. You can only tell that we're talking about pronunciation and not spelling because of the slashes. However, some words look very different when you see their pronunciation. Look at this one. Have you got any idea what that is? It's the word knowledge. And as you can see, it's very different from the spelling. So this is why it's very useful to learn the symbols. You can't always match the letters of a word to the sounds of that word. So if you want to improve your English pronunciation, you should learn the different sounds. And if you want to learn the different sounds, you should learn the symbols. And here's some good news. If you know the symbols and the sounds, you'll be able to use many dictionaries to find the pronunciation of any word in English. And you won't even need a teacher. So to help you learn the symbols and sounds, why not watch my videos here? Good luck and happy speaking.
Precisely what I also meant today when I began the classes, when I began my session today. The most important thing is you people should learn to recognize all the sounds, all the 44 sounds. The moment you start identifying the sounds, it will be very easy for you guys to have good pronunciation. And today's generation is born out of technology. You have technology in your pockets. You can definitely get all the resources. As I said prior, I would certainly give some of the references where people can improve your pronunciation skills. Few facts I'll do actual how you can improve your pronunciation, because always we ask questions to ourselves, why do we learn all these things? I've taken one of the research index which was published in 2000. Students, graduates stand at 28th place in English proficiency out of 60 countries surveyed. If you further look down at the report, it says 97% of our engineers are not fit for jobs. They can't speak good English. Lack of English language skills scares our job seekers. That's another problem today. We need to improve our pronunciations. Levels, proficiency levels. As I said, the proficiency levels are assessed in four different levels. Most of our graduates, either they end up with first level 1 or maximum by level 2. But today, Companies look at graduates who are at level 3. They're not even looking at level 4. What are those 4 levels? You'll get to know as we go further in our presentation today. Look at this particular news report, which was published, and these are the statements given by Kiran Karnik, a NASSCOM chief. Most of you would be working for BPOs or IT sectors as you've come out of Dayanand Sagar, becoming graduates. You'll be one of these companies. Look at what odd man out. That's why they wouldn't take, though doesn't matter. The person may be good at marks, maybe 90%, doesn't matter for them. They should have good communicative skills. That's what companies look at. Because poor communication skills may lead a lot of misunderstanding. And misunderstanding would lead to a lot of conflict. That's why they wouldn't entertain people who are not good at communicative skills. Look at this. The same person, again, he gives a statement: no English, no success. Your success is quantifiable today. Whether do you consider success as getting passed or getting a graduation certificate from a college, or would you determine your success in terms of getting a good job today, where you will be down the line 2 or 3 years? Is that the success that you're looking for? Or are you just looking at a success where you have first class or distinction? Is that the success that you're looking at? Or if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, is that the success that you're looking at? If you want to become an entrepreneur, you should be more good in your communicative skills. At least, okay, if you're at level 2 to be an employee, it's fine. But when you say you want to be an entrepreneur, you'll have to target level 4 or level 3 at least. I'll drop a question to you people today. What is your success? What's the roadmap that you have written for yourself? Success of getting mere degree marks cards? Or success of trying to be in a good position tomorrow? Look at this. Most of you are, because when the session was introduced, I got to know that there are a lot of management students as well. Post your bachelor's in management, if you enroll for an MBA, look at this here. MBA graduates lack communication skills. Then why all these things are happening? Even after getting formal education for so many years, why there's dearth in communication skills? It's time to question ourselves. As teachers, we should also ask questions to ourselves. As students, you people also should ask questions to yourselves. Few research says why pronunciations are very important. One of the research agencies, Robert Hall International Research, conducted a survey on 1,000 employees, and they found 96% were not effective in communication skills. 96%. Look at this. A Hindu newspaper conducted a survey, and they finally found to be that the reason for poor pronunciation skills, poor communicative skills, because 70% today, even today, are population from rural background. That could be the reasons, one of the reasons where we are unable to get that quality of skills and pronunciation abilities from our students. One of the reasons which Hindu had stated in 2015. Economic Times states 52% of graduates are not employable for any position due to their poor communication skills. 52%. These are all, I'm not stating it. I'm not exaggerated, or I'm not putting people in pessimistic state of mind, or I'm not trying to demotivate you people. These are all the facts. Let us believe in facts. Let us get up and smell the coffee today. This is a fact. And we always don't like to look at the facts. We live in fantasies. Okay, I'll get a job. How do we get the job? What would happen if we don't get a job tomorrow? We don't pose questions to ourselves like these. We just believe in ourselves, and we believe in a nutshell, and we are very comfortable there. Let me narrate one experiment a Chinese scientist had conducted. He took 2 containers. In one container, he had poured water. He boiled the water for the maximum temperature. He takes one of the frogs and he drops into that container. The moment the frog was dropped, the water was boiled to the maximum temperature. The frog leaped the container with minor injuries. That was experiment 1. In second experiment, he pours water, he takes the frog, he drops the frog into the water. The water was not boiled still. The frog goes and settles down in the container at the bottom. He lights the fire, and water turns to the temperature rises, and the frog didn't realize the temperature was on. Slowly, frog died. The outcome of research is we all live in a comfort zone like that, like a second frog. We are not realizing what is happening. Like our fire was boiling water, but frog never realized. We are in the same state of condition today. We are not realizing, we are not aware of what's happening. Human Resource Development, recently they furnished a report in 2018 and 19. It says 8 lakh students. Our education number has grown to 8 lakh students in 2018 and 19, and it has come to 37.8 million, almost 4 crore of our population are graduates. For almost 4 crores. So India Skills Report 2020, it says 46.21% of our total Indian graduates are employable. India Skills Report 2020, it says that 54% are not employable. Look at this statement. A study says people who are good in communicative skills, which means they are fluent English, they earn 37.4% more salary than others. India Skill Report 2019 says English communication skills is one of top 3 skills where employees look for. Why English pronunciations are very important today? Because that would lead, without that, it would lead to miscommunications. That's why in the previous slide also was saying, miscommunication leads to a lot of conflict at workplace. That's why most of the companies, they wouldn't like to hire the person who's very poor in communication skills, particularly pronunciation. AmenTimes.com says they wouldn't hire the person who's not good in pronunciation for Amen employments today, because the spoken or written are extremely difficult to understand. One of the major recruiting, abroad recruiting agency was AmenTimes. They've stopped because of this poor spoken and writing skills of our graduates. Even the same condition in the United States, one of the agencies, they also stated proficiency of our graduates are very poor. That's why the immigrant recruitments are becoming very less these days. Again, these are a few of the statements. Where do we, this is not that relevant for you guys, but let me take this one simple thing. We have various accents. We have British accent, American accent, and one of those top 5 accents are Indian Standard English. Now, we need not to imitate anyone. We have come to our own accent where we need to speak like Indians, but we are not doing that. We are trying to bring in our mother tongues in between. For example, if L1 is our mother tongue, and we'll have that influence on L2. L2 is always foreign language. The L1 influence would bring a lot of influence of mother tongue influence would be more, which makes listeners to, it's very tough for listeners to understand what we are trying to say. That's a major problem of today's generation, of it has been very chaotic in terms of pronunciation abilities. Hindi influence on English, Kannada influence on English, or Telugu influence on English. All these things, L1 influence on L2, causing a lot of problem. As I said, the 5 major accents in the world today, it's Indian English also, one of the major accents. Reasons for inaccurate English pronunciation. The first reason, which I said, impact of mother tongue. Can you guess how many mother tongues we have in our country? It's 750. It was 1,500 before, and dominant English language has compelled, we have forgotten almost 50% of our Indian languages are no more. Approximately, we have 750 languages spoken in our country. A city like Bangalore alone, 70 plus languages are spoken. 70 plus regional languages in Bangalore city. And that brings a lot of influence on our foreign language. That's why it leads to a lot of inaccurate pronunciations. I'll just show you some of the examples in my coming slides. How this mother tongue brings an influence on foreign pronunciation, foreign language pronunciation. If we have so many languages in a region like Bangalore, 70 plus languages, you can understand how that brings a lot of influence on our foreign language. Neglect of listening skills and speaking skills. If you want to speak more, listen more. If you want to write more, you should read more. To listen, to speak and read, you'll have to read more. 45% is the importance of listening skills today, but we least bother for listening skills. We don't listen. You always try to believe in speaking. So God has given 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we have to double what we speak. We should listen, or we should read at least, because while reading, we get words. Our vocabulary builds. Without reading, there'll be always a shortage in our vocabulary. We just go on repeating. We will be very repetitive in our using of words when we speak. Inadequate training. The training for these pronunciations and communicative skills should happen from the school level. Whether you people believe it or not, still you people have time. A lot of research says the IQ of our students will be very sharp till 20. They can learn up to 6 languages from the age of 15 to 20. Still, you people are in those age brackets, you people can definitely achieve. Just 1 month or 2 months time, sometimes I do it in 20 hours in our training sessions. We'll make sure all undergraduating students, they do pick their pronunciations intact in our workshops. It's very easy. Moment you cross 2021, it's very tough for you. I'm not saying impossible. Your LAD, language acquisition devices, it will not be that effective the moment you cross 2021. LAD is very effective until you are a teenager, until up to you're 20. Your language acquisition devices work very effectively and you can learn very faster. If you have any assumptions, tomorrow, let me finish graduation, I learn within a week. No. No skill can be learned overnight. That could be any skill in the world. Any skill requires its own time to get imbibed. And you need proper training for that. You need a proper trainer. Without proper training, without proper trainer, it's very tough. And we have self-learning materials today. As I said, it's a world of communication technology. You have everything in your hand. You have everything in your mobile phones. You'll have hundreds of apps downloaded. Download, which is very important for you today to learn English pronunciations today, right after this session. 20 minutes for 1 year. I repeat, 20 minutes for 365 days. You can learn anything on this earth. Yes, you need to spend 20 minutes for the next 365 days. Anything is possible to learn. That could be nuclear science as well. That's a capacity of your age. When it comes to my age, maybe 20 becomes 23s or 24s are, maybe 2 hours a day for 365 days. Because my LED would be very weak now. Casual attitude of educators. Let me not blame only students here. We are also at the fault end. We teachers are also maybe not competent, maybe our casual attitude, our negligence towards making our students to pick good pronunciation. We should accept that as well. As I said in the previous slides, 70% of our students are from rural background. So that is another cause for our poor pronunciation among our students. The video stated the difference between sounds and spelling. Remember, when you want to read, you'll have to read the letters. When you want to pronounce, you'll have to read the sounds. Ability to read sounds, you'll have to pick it. You'll have to recognize all the sounds and you should be able to identify the sounds. That's the basic thing that you should be able to understand. Pronouncing every vowel in a similar manner, like eat, eat. There's a long vowel and we always neglect that. I don't have much time. I'll just try to throw light on why it is important today, because this area requires a lot of time. At least 20 hours I take for my workshops. It'll be tough to finish everything in 45 minutes or 1 hour. So I'll skip this few sentences. I said at the beginning, 4 levels. Level 1. People often don't understand what you want to say, the use of wrong sounds in English words. This is level 1. Basic level, very poor. Level 2, people understand what you want to say, but very unpleasant to listen to you. You speak, you believe that you're speaking correctly, but people don't like it. Tomorrow, your interviewer may not like what you said. Level 3, people understand you and your English is pleasant, listen to you. Next level, level 3, where people understand both your presentation and pronunciation. And level 4, extremely important, you're very good in speaking and vocabulary. That is level 4. That should be a target, at least level 3, or if it is very good, level 4. But please don't try to be at level 1 or 2. Be very conscious when it comes to foreign language. This illustration states everything about it. The different part of the brain functions for mother tongue and for the foreign language. It's a different region of brain works for mother tongue and foreign language. That's why we are able to speak our mother tongue even at subconscious state. But when it comes to foreign language, you'll have to be very conscious. The conscious efforts should be made. Influence of mother tongue. Most of our South Indians, we use more oo and ra. Like for example, Bandru, Odru, like that. We try to put those oo after every word. Light becomes lightu. Or we try to roll a lot of ra's at the end. The most of the words in English ending with ra becomes a. But we try to emphasize more ra. We try to roll those. That's the major problem of our South Indian language. When it comes to Malayalam speaker, they always shuffle between turn, der, pern, ba. Temple becomes demble, like that. So there's a lot of confusion between these consonants. Ter becomes der, per becomes ba, per becomes ba. If you go to north part of our country, there's always a problem with using sir before sir. Sir for sure, same becomes shame, or for R they use E. For glass becomes glass. They try to use E. Again, Bengali speakers also. Becomes O for them. Club becomes club. So all these things are directly influenced from mother tongue. So I'll propose one of it's simple technique. Before that technique, please watch this video and come back to you, and I'll address you what is that simple technique where you can start working on your pronunciation from today's session. That's a takeaway from this session for you guys. Please watch this video. We'll come back.
I have a quiz for all of you as you watch this video. I'm going to tap out the melody of a song with my fingers on this table, and you have to guess which song I'm tapping. Guess. You may or may not have guessed the song, but I'm sure you're all wondering, what's wrong with this man? Authors Chip and Dan Heath wrote an article for Harvard Business Review called The Curse of Knowledge, based on an experiment conducted at Stanford University in the year 1990. Elizabeth Newton, a psychology student, conducted this very interesting experiment for her PhD dissertation. She called it Tappers and Listeners Experiment. She invited some of her friends and peers in college to be a part of the experiment. Each student was to play one of the two roles, a tapper or a listener. The tappers were given a list of 25 popular melodies such as Happy Birthday to You and Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells, Jingle All the Way. All they had to do was to tap out the melody on a table using their fingers. And guess what the listeners had to do? Well, simple. They had to guess the song. And you might have guessed by now that this was not an easy task at all. Out of the 120 times a melody was tapped, the listener could guess it correctly only thrice. Success rate of 2.5%. But the interesting part of the story is, before the tappers even began, Elizabeth asked them to predict the probability of the listeners being able to guess the song correctly. And what do you think the tappers predicted? A 50% chance that they would be able to get the listeners to guess the melody correctly. Although their idea was that they would be able to get the listeners to guess the melody correctly 1 out of 2 times, the reality was that the listeners could guess the melody once in 40 attempts. Well, here's what's happening. The tapper knows the melody well. It's clearly playing in his head. Therefore, when the fingers are tapping the melody, they're in perfect sync with what's playing in his head. And he's just not able to figure out why the listener cannot guess such a simple melody. And what about the listener? Well, he or she has no idea what's happening because the melody is not playing in their head. Try as hard as they may, They just cannot make any sense out of the tapping. Have you ever told your spouse, your child, your colleague, or your subordinate at work to do something with complete clarity in your head in what you wanted them to do? I'm sure you have. And did you find out later that they did put all their effort, but did something not exactly what you were looking for? And this caused so much frustration to both the parties. When this happens the next time, understand clearly who is the problem. It's the tapper, not the listener. Because you, as the tapper, have it clear in your head, and you assume that it will be clear to your listener, your spouse, your child, your colleague, your friend as well. That's not true at all.
Let me stop there because I'm running out of time, because I've given time till 4. As I'll just try to explain what I was trying to convey through the video. As tappers, we know what we are saying, but listeners may not understand what we are saying. Similarly with pronunciation as well. We believe we are pronouncing correctly, but unfortunately for listeners, our pronunciations may not be good. That's a major problem that we are facing in today's world. We always believe in ourselves, what I am is right. But have we ever thought of listeners? Communication is all about considering listeners as well. But are we considering? That's a question I'll leave it for you guys. As I said, the thought groups is one of those techniques where you need to listen to English speakers or people who pronounce well, try to notice where they pause. This is the best and fastest way to learn English. Just see the pauses where they give pause and try to adapt or imitate how they do. That's the simplest way. That's a thought group. Whenever you listen to the videos next time, just keep watchful, keep an eye on the pause where they give. So all these things are a few rules of how that could be. And whenever you split the sentences, you break, if I'm speaking, see where do I break my speech? After how many sentences I give a pause. Try to consider the pauses which I give. Automatically, you learn how to pronounce faster. Listen to the best speakers. It'll be very easy for you guys. So let me go to the last thing. Do the following. From today's presentation, I would like to propose all these few techniques where you people can start using it from today. First of all, have faith in you. Still you have time because you people are young. As I said, your LAD will be very effective, language acquisition devices. Please try to use those and learn faster. Have faith in it. Set goals. Try to reach those goals. For example, next 1 month, every day 1 hour, I listen to a lot of audios where I listen to those thought groups, the pauses, pronunciations, how it is made in that. Prepare a plan and stick to the plan. So 20 minutes for next 365 days. Nobody can stop you to be a good communicator. Have sensitive ears. Listen to people who talk in English. Don't worry about your mistakes. That's the most important thing. Consciousness of your mind will lead you to not to become a good communicator. Always remember this. Learn to ask questions. The skill of asking questions is very important. I've already mentioned the importance of listening is 45%. Don't forget that. Listen more, and more. Record your voice. You have mobile phones. You have all the apps in that. Record and listen to the recording. Correct yourselves. Get to know all those 44 sounds. Identify all the sounds. Use dictionary and do some exercise. So these are the few resources you people have to get it today. To record, I haven't mentioned here. You'll have to, you can use one of these tools or you can use Audacity, which I have not mentioned there. Audacity is a simple open tool app where you can download, record, and listen to it. Or you can use all these resources. I'll drop this to your Professor Mukesh today. You can get these resources and use these resources to improve your pronunciation skills. I was given time till 4, it's almost 4. I thought I'll take some questions, because if without questions, it becomes one-way communication. Let me get some questions for you guys. I'll be happy to answer those questions. Over to you, Professor Mukesh.
Thank you, Diwakar sir. We have few questions. Ms. Deepika would like to ask few questions on behalf of the students. Deepika,
Please.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So it was really a very good informative session. So here are some questions from the students. And there's one question here. I'm from North India. How can I improve my pronunciation?
As I said, I don't know which is our mother tongue. If it is Hindi, Hindi always tries to have similar minimal pace, vowel sounds, where we try to put it in English pronunciation. The simple thing for that is they should be able to recognize all the 44 sounds. That's the basic entry level of pronunciations. Once they recognize, if they start practicing, out of 44 sounds, 30 sounds will be similar to our mother tongue. The problem happens only with those 14 sounds which are not part of our mother tongue. If they could practice those 14 sounds and they know how to pronounce those, they are the masters. Just they lose their accent, they lose their pronunciation skills just because of those 14 sounds, which are dominantly influenced by the North Indian languages. Once they are able to get rid of that, the problem is solved.
Thank you, sir. There's one more question. Should we do any course or take up training for improving our English pronunciation?
bbcenglishlearning.com. bbcenglishlearning.com. That's an open tool source where we get videos for all the 44 sounds. I just drop it in the chat now. We get all the 44 sounds, and if they could download all the 44 sounds and practice for 2 days, and they can and also enroll in Coursera or any other MOOC courses for 20 hours or 40 hours of course, they can learn faster. There are a lot of, pronunciation learning is not, like learning a nuclear science kind of thing. It's like we do have a lot of resources. Well, the thing is we need to dedicate time and we should channelize our interests. Definitely we can do.
Thank you, sir. One last question.
Yeah.
How does good pronunciation help us getting jobs?
See, I already said, stated in my presentation, today's world is no more local or no more national. It's international. We are global today. And it's time for working at global level. We need to interact with everybody across the countries today. It's not that I just work in Bangalore. The person who sits somewhere in the corner in Bangalore, he'll be working for American clients. If that person doesn't have good pronunciation skills, obviously it's a threat for that person to communicate with people. Where his clients may not understand. And we all are, apart from how many local companies we have, we do work for foreign companies and we do deal with foreign clients. Without good pronunciation, I'll just leave it open for you guys, for students. Like without that, how could they convey what they want to say? That video, as I stated, tappers and listeners, we know how to tap, but they don't know how to listen to us. That's a irony.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Rashmi as to give the vote of thanks. So there's one more question in the chat box.
Yeah.
How can we learn different accents?
We need not to learn different accents, as I said. Indian Standard English, which has been developed by our University of Foreign Languages, Hyderabad. Our accent is also very neutral today. Anybody can understand. But problem is we speak Indian accent, not Indian standard English accent, which I'm emphasizing on Indian standard of accent, where we use all these sounds and speak. We can't be native speakers. We can't speak like a British. We can't speak like American. It's impossible. Imitation, I think by imitating, we can speak for a few minutes. We can't have it our own. Our own is Indian standard English, INDE. So if we can use all these sounds and speak like an Indian, that's more than enough. Let us not put on anyone's accent, which is not necessary.
Thank you, sir. I now request Professor Rashmi S to give the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. I am Professor Rashmi S. It gives me immense pleasure to render vote of thanks. We are thankful to our chairman, Dr. D. Hem Chandra Sagar, Vice Chairman, Dr. Prem Chandra Sagar, and Secretary, Sri Gali Swami, for providing us the state-of-the-art of facilities. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Nagaraj Shenoy, for motivating us to conduct webinars and other academic activities. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Hemant, the Vice Principal, BSc ASC, for motivating us in all the spheres of academics. I also thank Professor Gurunath, the IQAC coordinator. I am thankful to our HODs, Professor Murgesha BN and Dr. Suplab Kanti Podda, for their unconditional support. My special thanks goes to our guest speaker, Professor Diwakar P, for sharing his expertise in field of English pronunciation. Thank you, sir. It was enlightening session not only for students but also for teachers. Thanks for your valuable time and insights. I should not forget to thank the beneficiaries of this program, that's our students. A hearty thanks to all the BCom BBA students for attending this program and getting benefited by it. I thank Mr. Mukesh Soni, the convener of this program. I also thank Ms. Anita and Ms. Deepika for extending their assistance to conduct this program successfully. We are thankful to Ramiah sir for his eminent technical expertise. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all. Have a good day.
My special thanks to Professor Diwakar, who has accepted my invitation at a very short notice. And thank you so much, Diwakar sir, in spite of your unhealthy...
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah. In spite of your unhealthy condition that you have taken up this session. And we have got very good feedback, and students have really spoken a lot about through their questions. So we expect few more sessions in future, Diwakar sir.
Sure, sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite. And I thank all the students and all the faculty members, especially principal, management, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very well.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I request all the participants to switch on the video so that we can take a photo. I request all the participants to switch on the video so we can take a photo session. Pooja, Shubhada, Kirti, Ananya. Please switch on the video. Jeevan, Deepika. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Can I leave?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Diwakar,
thank
sir.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Rashmi ma'am, as well, who has rendered vote of thanks. Thank you, all the participants. Have a good day. Take care.